After the age of 65, many assume that sexuality fades into the background, yet science tells a different story. Research shows that intimacy remains a vital part of overall well-being and can even serve as a marker of successful aging. A large-scale German study revealed that older adults who reported greater satisfaction with their sex lives also enjoyed higher levels of mental health and life quality. This raises a fascinating question: what factors allow sexuality in later life not only to persist, but to evolve into a deeper source of fulfillment and connection? Join us on Intimate Wisdom as we explore the science, habits, and mindsets that shape a thriving intimate life after 65. Sexual vitality after 60. How midlife habits shape intimacy in later years. When people think about aging, they often imagine a steady decline in energy, health, and intimacy. Yet modern research shows that sexuality in the 60s and beyond can remain vibrant, deeply fulfilling, and even more emotionally rich than in earlier years, provided we take care of the foundations much earlier in life. Sexual satisfaction at an older age does not arise by chance. It is largely shaped by the physical health and lifestyle habits established during midlife. 3 domains stand out in particular: cardiovascular health, quality sleep, and long-term stress management. First, cardiovascular health plays a central role. Sexual activity, at its core, is a physiological process that relies on efficient blood circulation. For men, erections depend on healthy blood vessels that can deliver blood to the pelvic region, while for women, arousal and lubrication are similarly linked to vascular function. Conditions such as hypertension, high cholesterol, and diabetes compromise these mechanisms by damaging the endothelium, the inner lining of blood vessels, leading to reduced responsiveness and diminished sexual performance. Numerous studies have shown that individuals who maintain healthy cardiovascular systems through regular exercise, balanced nutrition, weight management, and avoidance of smoking not only live longer but also report greater sexual satisfaction. In short, what protects the heart also protects intimacy. Second, sleep is far more than a way to recharge energy. It is a biological cornerstone of sexual vitality. Chronic sleep deprivation disrupts the hormonal balance that underpins desire and function. In men, reduced sleep is strongly associated with decreased testosterone levels, which can lower libido and impair erectile quality. In women, insufficient sleep contributes to irregularities in estrogen and progesterone, leading to reduced arousal and vaginal dryness. Beyond hormones, lack of rest intensifies irritability, weakens emotional connection, and reduces willingness to engage in intimacy. Prioritizing consistent, restorative sleep of 7 to 8 hours per night is therefore not simply a lifestyle choice but a crucial investment in both long-term health and sexual well-being. Third, chronic stress acts as a silent antagonist to intimacy. Elevated cortisol, the stress hormone, interferes with the production of sex hormones such as testosterone and estrogen, gradually eroding sexual desire. Moreover, stress often introduces emotional distance within relationships. Unspoken resentment, persistent tension, and mental exhaustion can suffocate intimacy more effectively than age itself. Effective stress management, whether through mindfulness practices, regular physical activity, therapy, or even small rituals of relaxation, creates space for emotional reconnection and renewed desire. Together, these are 3 pillars: cardiovascular health, sleep, and stress regulation form the scientific foundation for a thriving sex life in one's 60s and beyond. They remind us that sexuality in later years is not a fading ember but a flame that can burn steadily, provided we nurture the body and mind with care and foresight. Aging, then, need not be the end of intimacy but an opportunity to experience it with greater depth, resilience, and joy. Hormones and sexual vitality after 60. Why understanding the basics matters. When people think about intimacy in later life, they often imagine a natural decline that cannot be avoided. Yet research in endocrinology reveals a far more nuanced truth. Hormones remain central to sexual desire, performance, and satisfaction well into older age. What truly matters is not only acknowledging their role but also understanding baseline levels before pursuing any kind of treatment. By doing so, we open the possibility of preserving intimacy, confidence, and emotional closeness even after 60. In men, testosterone is the cornerstone hormone governing libido, energy, and erectile function. Starting around age 30, testosterone begins to decline at an average rate of about 1% per year. This gradual drop is easy to overlook in one's 40s and 50s, but by the time men reach their 60s, the effects can become strikingly clear. Common signs include persistent fatigue, reduced sexual interest, decreased muscle mass, and increasing difficulty achieving or maintaining erections. These changes can erode not only physical intimacy but also self-esteem. Regular hormonal evaluations are therefore essential. If clinically low testosterone is confirmed, physicians may recommend tailored approaches ranging from lifestyle modifications such as strength training, improved nutrition, and sufficient sleep, to medical options like testosterone replacement therapy under close supervision. The goal is not to chase youth, but to restore balance and quality of life. For women, the transition through menopause brings a sharper and more abrupt hormonal shift. Both estrogen and testosterone levels fall significantly, often leading to vaginal dryness, decreased arousal, and pain during intercourse. Many women assume these changes are an unavoidable part of aging and silently endure loss of pleasure. However, modern gynecological care offers safe and effective interventions. Topical estrogen, vaginal moisturizers, and in select cases low-dose testosterone therapy have been shown to improve lubrication, restore comfort, and reignite desire. The key is breaking the silence and recognizing that options exist to maintain a satisfying intimate life well past menopause. Beyond physical effects, hormones exert a profound influence on emotions and relationships. When levels are stable, individuals tend to experience greater vitality, optimism, and closeness with their partners. Conversely, prolonged imbalance can amplify irritability, fatigue, and emotional distance, often misattributed to age rather than biology. Addressing hormonal health is therefore not merely about enhancing sexual function, it is about strengthening the emotional fabric of long-term partnerships. In conclusion, sexuality after 60 does not have to fade into memory. By understanding the hormonal foundations of intimacy, both men and women can take proactive steps to protect their well-being. Routine hormone assessments, lifestyle choices, and evidence-based treatments can transform the experience of aging from one of inevitable decline to one of resilience, connection, and enduring attraction. Mindset and attitude, the hidden keys to fulfilling intimacy after 60. When society talks about sexuality, it often frames intimacy as something reserved for the young. This cultural narrative quietly convinces many older adults that desire naturally fades and that sexual connection has little relevance in later years. Yet research in psychology and gerontology tells a different story. While physical health matters, it is mindset and attitude that largely determine whether intimacy remains fulfilling after 60. One of the most powerful barriers is belief itself. If you assume that aging inevitably closes the door to passion, you begin to withdraw emotionally and physically, even when your body is still capable of desire. This self-limiting perception can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. By contrast, those who view intimacy as an evolving experience shifting from youthful urgency to deeper connection often discover a renewed sense of satisfaction. They emphasize emotional closeness, presence, and communication rather than focusing solely on frequency or performance. Interestingly, many older couples report that even though the number of sexual encounters decreases, the emotional quality of those encounters improves. Without the pressure to perform or prove themselves, partners feel freer to slow down, listen, and nurture one another. The result is sex that may be less frequent but far more profound, an experience of intimacy grounded not only in physicality but also in empathy and shared meaning. A positive mindset also helps dismantle social stigma. In many cultures, sexuality among older adults is portrayed as inappropriate, even shameful. This discourages open conversation with partners and health professionals, leaving many to struggle in silence with issues that could be addressed. Silence fosters isolation, reduces intimacy, and increases the risk of emotional detachment. On the other hand, when individuals embrace the idea that sexuality is a lifelong dimension of human connection, they reclaim agency over their own pleasure and set an example that challenges outdated stereotypes. Attitude further influences resilience in the face of inevitable physical changes. Men may experience slower arousal or erectile challenges, women may face dryness or hormonal shifts. These realities can be discouraging if viewed as signs of failure. But with a mindset that prioritizes adaptation and communication, couples can reframe obstacles as opportunities to explore new forms of intimacy, from extended foreplay and touch to shared exploration of sensuality beyond intercourse. Ultimately, attitude shapes experience. If you believe intimacy belongs only to youth, you will miss out on its richness in later years. But if you approach sexuality as a deepening journey, one that values presence over performance and emotional resonance over numbers, you unlock the potential for intimacy after 60 to be not only possible but profoundly rewarding. Aging, then, is not the end of passion, but the beginning of a more authentic, enduring connection. Never suffer in silence. It's never too late to renew intimacy after 60. In many cultures, sexuality in older age is surrounded by silence. It is often considered a taboo subject, irrelevant, or even inappropriate. As a result, countless older adults endure discomfort, disconnection, and loneliness without ever seeking help. Yet scientific evidence is clear: a fulfilling sex life can continue well into one's 60s, 70s, and even 80s, provided we are willing to speak openly and invest in our own well-being. For postmenopausal women, hormonal decline frequently brings challenges such as dryness, discomfort, and reduced pleasure. Too often these changes are accepted as inevitable, leaving women to suffer quietly. In reality, modern medicine offers a wide range of safe, effective solutions: locally stringent therapy, specialized lubricants, and in certain cases carefully monitored hormonal treatments can significantly improve comfort and desire. The first step is breaking the silence and consulting a gynecologist or urologist who can provide evidence-based guidance for men and women alike. Age itself does not preclude intimacy. Even in their 70s or 80s, individuals can rediscover connection, passion, and physical closeness, whether in long-term partnerships or new relationships. Research consistently shows that couples who prioritize open communication and emotional presence often find intimacy that is more satisfying than in earlier years. Meanwhile, single adults can use this stage of life to deepen self-knowledge, build confidence, and approach new connections with a stronger sense of authenticity. What matters most is a holistic investment in health and relationships. A strong cardiovascular system, restorative sleep, and stress management provide the biological foundation for sexual vitality. Equally important is the social and emotional dimension. Nurturing bonds with partners, friends, and communities reduces loneliness and fosters resilience. Silence, on the other hand, only widens the gap. A single honest conversation with a doctor, a partner, or even oneself can unlock opportunities for healing and renewal. Ultimately, the true barrier to intimacy in older age is not biology but resignation. Sexuality is not bound to youth alone, it is a lifelong expression of connection, trust, and vitality. When individuals embrace this truth, they open themselves to possibilities of joy and closeness at every stage of life. The message is simple yet powerful: never accept silence as your destiny. Seek support, care for your health, nurture emotional bonds, and invest in yourself. By doing so, you will discover that it is never too late to love, to connect, and to enjoy a deeply fulfilling sex life no matter your age. After 60, what to eat and do to keep sexual health strong. Sexual vitality after the age of 60 is not only influenced by hormones or psychology, it is deeply tied to overall physical health. What we eat, how we move, and the way we care for our bodies each day determine energy, desire, and the ability to enjoy intimacy. Far from being a matter of chance, a satisfying sex life in later years is the product of consistent, healthy choices. So what should people over 60 eat and do to support strong sexual health? 1. Nutrition that supports the heart and circulation. Sexual function relies heavily on healthy blood flow. That means a heart-healthy diet is essential. Older adults should prioritize leafy greens, whole grains, fatty fish rich in omega-3s, like salmon or sardines, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. These foods improve vascular function, lower bad cholesterol, and enhance circulation to the pelvic organs, which directly supports arousal and erectile function. In contrast, limiting red meat, fried foods, and refined sugar helps reduce the risk of atherosclerosis, a major barrier to sexual performance. In essence, the same foods that protect the heart also protect intimacy. 2. Staying physically active. Exercise is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining sexual vitality. Activities such as brisk walking, swimming, yoga, or light strength training help maintain cardiovascular health, improve muscle tone, and preserve flexibility. Physical activity also stimulates natural production of endorphins and testosterone, boosting mood and libido. Regular movement is not just about fitness, it is a direct investment in sustaining desire and energy for intimacy. 3. Prioritizing sleep and stable rhythms. Many older adults struggle with sleep disturbances, yet 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night is crucial for hormonal balance. Deep rest helps preserve testosterone levels in men and supports estrogen regulation in women. Poor sleep, on the other hand, contributes to irritability, low energy, and reduced desire. Establishing consistent sleep routines, going to bed at the same time, reducing caffeine intake in the evening, and creating a calm sleep environment can dramatically improve both overall health and sexual well-being. 4. Managing stress and protecting emotional health. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which suppresses sex hormones and weakens emotional connection. This makes stress reduction just as important as diet or exercise. Mindfulness practices, deep breathing, meditation, or even regular conversations with loved ones can ease emotional strain. Reducing stress not only restores hormonal balance but also fosters closeness and intimacy with a partner. After 60, sexual health can remain strong and deeply rewarding when supported by smart lifestyle choices. A diet that nurtures circulation, consistent physical activity, restorative sleep, and emotional well-being form the 4 pillars of lasting intimacy. Ultimately, healthy living not only extends lifespan but also ensures that later years are rich with connection, pleasure, and vitality. Sex after 60, a natural prescription for mental clarity and comfort. Many people assume that sexuality loses its significance after the age of 60. In reality, science shows quite the opposite. Maintaining a healthy sex life later in life is not just about pleasure. It acts as a powerful natural therapy that supports the heart, sharpens the mind, and enhances overall well-being. Far from being a luxury, intimacy after 60 can be seen as an essential component of healthy aging. 1. Benefits for the heart and circulation. Sexual activity is a form of physical exercise. During intercourse, heart rate increases, circulation improves, and blood vessels are stimulated to remain flexible. Studies suggest that older adults who maintain sexual activity show better cardiovascular health and lower risks of hypertension and heart disease. In addition, the energy expenditure of sexual activity is comparable to light exercise, contributing to weight control and improved endurance. 2. Sharpening memory and cognitive function. Neurological research has found that sexual activity stimulates the release of dopamine and oxytocin, neurotransmitters that are vital for motivation, memory, and emotional bonding. The increased blood flow to the brain during intimacy may also enhance cognitive performance. For older adults, regular intimacy has been associated with better memory recall and slower cognitive decline. In this way, sex acts not only as a source of pleasure but also as a form of mental exercise that nourishes the brain. 3. Stress relief and restorative sleep. Sex is a natural stress reliever. Orgasms trigger the release of endorphins, which reduce tension and create feelings of relaxation. After climax, the body also releases prolactin, a hormone that promotes deep, restorative sleep. For many older adults, maintaining sexual intimacy helps regulate sleep cycles, reduce nighttime restlessness, and improve next-day alertness. 4. Strengthening emotional connection. Beyond its physiological benefits, sex after 60 plays an important role in sustaining emotional bonds. Touch, eye contact, and shared intimacy provide reassurance, trust, and a sense of belonging. These elements protect against loneliness and depression, two common challenges in older adulthood. Even when frequency decreases, the emotional depth of intimacy often increases, creating a sense of comfort and closeness that enriches relationships. Sexuality after 60 is far from irrelevant. It is a cornerstone of holistic health. Regular intimacy supports cardiovascular fitness, sustains cognitive sharpness, relieves stress, and fosters emotional well-being. Most importantly, it provides a sense of vitality and connection that makes aging not just about surviving, but about thriving. In short, sex at this stage of life is not only possible, it is profoundly beneficial, helping individuals remain clear-minded, relaxed, and deeply connected. The Gentle Flame, the story of Mr. Henry and Grace's story. At an age when many imagine life should slow down to quiet mornings with tea, light exercise in the park, and evenings spent watching television, Mr. Henry at 63 and Mrs. Grace at 61 are living proof that passion has no expiration date. While some say intimacy after 60 is like an old oil lamp, flickering weakly and threatening to go out, for Henry and Grace that lamp has been upgraded to a long-lasting LED light, steady, efficient, and shining brighter than anyone expected. Mr. Henry, still vigorous thanks to his daily cycling, often jokes that retirement is just a new kind of training camp. Mrs. Grace, graceful with her silver hair tied back after a yoga session, insists that a healthy Mediterranean-style diet is their real secret. Together, they present the picture of health, but the real treasure lies in their perspective. Intimacy is not the privilege of youth but an art that matures beautifully with age. One morning, while wiping the windows, Mrs. Grace teased her husband, "At our age, people say we should stick to board games." Mr. Henry, with a mischievous grin, replied, "Chess is fine, but remember the king still has to march across the board and this king is still fit for duty." Mrs. Grace blushed but couldn't help smiling, for his playful way of speaking about intimacy always carried warmth and respect. They both understood that sex at this stage was no longer about rushing or proving, but about savoring like a fine glass of red wine, slower, richer, and deeply satisfying. On a seaside holiday with friends, one curious companion leaned over and asked Henry if he still had the energy. Mr. Henry laughed heartily and quipped, "Machines may get old, but if you oil them, service them, and use the right fuel, they'll run smoothly for decades." The whole table erupted with laughter, while Mrs. Grace scolded half playfully, "You sound like a car salesman." But beneath the humor were real challenges they had faced with courage and openness. Mrs. Grace endured the dryness and hormonal shifts of menopause, but instead of keeping silent, she sought medical advice and found safe, effective treatments. Mr. Henry, aware that his body responded differently than in his 30s, chose not to deny it but to adapt through medical checkups, exercise, and mindful habits. Their openness and willingness to talk about every obstacle turned challenges into opportunities for greater connection. For them, Sex after 60 is not only physical, it is an intimate language of care, a hand held tightly, a glance filled with affection, a whispered word that still quickens the heart. Mrs. Grace often reflects, 60 is not a downhill road, it's simply a new path, with gentler slopes and richer scenery. Mr. Henry, ever witty, adds, and the best part is, we are still walking it together. Their story delights and inspires their friends, who realize that passion does not wither with age but simply changes flavor. If youthful love is like fireworks, dazzling but short-lived, then intimacy in later years is like a candle's flame, steady, enduring, warm, and comforting. And perhaps it is this very glow, gentle yet persistent, that keeps minds sharp, spirits light, and hearts joyful well into the golden years. Sexuality after the age of 60 is not merely a physical activity but an essential part of overall health and well-being. Research has shown that maintaining intimacy in later life can improve circulation, balance hormones, enhance memory, reduce stress, and promote better sleep quality. More importantly, a fulfilling sex life nurtures emotional connection, slows down cognitive aging, and contributes to long-lasting happiness. Therefore, caring for physical health, adopting healthy lifestyle habits, and engaging in open conversations about sexual needs are the keys to keeping intimacy alive even well into the 60s, 70s, and beyond. Thank you for listening until the very end. If today's story has gently stirred your heart, whether through an old memory, a present feeling, or something never spoken into words, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Intimate wisdom is where we come together to touch the hidden corners of love, affection, and sexuality, things that may seem private, yet are in fact the very core of happiness. I wish you to always love deeply, live truthfully, and find yourself in every glance, every touch, and every trembling heartbeat. Affectionate greetings.